helping the saints, reaching the lost. WWMF, we invite you in, we welcome you in.
Today I want to just briefly look at Jesus, the greatest historian. I want us to turn our Bibles to Matthew chapter 13, verses 24 to 30. Another parable he put forth to them, saying, "The kingdom of heaven is like a man who sowed good seed in his field. But while men slept, his enemy came and sowed tares among the wheat and went his way. But when the grain had sprouted and produced a crop, then the tares also appeared. So the servants of the owner came and said to him, 'Sir, did you not sow good seed in your field? How then does it have tares?' He said to them, 'An enemy has done this.' The servant said to him, 'Do you want us then to go and gather them up?' But he said, 'No, lest while you gather up the tares, you also uproot the wheat with them. Let both grow together until the harvest. And at the time of harvest, I will say to the reapers, first gather together the tares and bind them in the bundles to burn them, but gather the wheat into my barn.'" Jesus knows and understands history as no human. In the parable of the wheat and tares, Jesus gives insight into history. The first point I want to make is that Jesus knows the course of history. A farmer sowed some good wheat seed in a field. While he slept, an enemy sowed tares among the wheat. In this simple story, Jesus gives us insight into how he knows the direction of history. The parable teaches that God works in history. God has been dealing with humankind since the beginning of creation. It was God who sought Adam after he rebelled against God. He chose Abraham as the father of a chosen nation, Israel, through whom all could be saved. God worked in varied ways throughout the history of Israel. God worked in a decisive way in history when he sent his son Jesus Christ to earth as a baby in Bethlehem. While Jesus was in the flesh, he taught, preached, and performed miracles. He died on a cross and was triumphant over death. He ascended back to glory. But he did not cease to work in history. Instead, he sent the Holy Spirit. God is at work in the Spirit today. Throughout the course of history, while God works, the enemy tries to counter God's works. We have an enemy, and he opposes everything that God does. Jesus did not give cut and dried solutions to the enigma of evil. He simply said, "An enemy has done this." The second thing we need to note is that Jesus knows the consummation of history. In Jesus' parable, the servants of the farmer were disturbed. "Sir, did you not sow good seed in your field? How then does it have tares?" That was the questions they asked. The servants wanted to go into the field and carefully pick the tares from the wheat. The farmer knew that the servants could not tell the wheat from the tares during their growth, because both the tares and the wheat look exactly the same. It's only at harvest time that you can know and see the difference. So he said, "Let both grow together until the harvest." And Jesus used the term harvest here to describe the consummation of history. Many people have predicted how the world will end. Some think that the world's ecology will be thrown out of balance and destroyed by poor environmental management. Then there are many who believe that the world will be destroyed by a nuclear war. Then there's others who go to the opposite extreme and say that the world will get better and finally graduate to a utopia. Jesus has a clear view of the consummation of history. He says that history is moving towards a great climax in a great harvest day. Jesus taught that good and evil will exist together until the harvest day. This final return of the Lord, commonly known as the second coming of Christ, will terminate history. Let's see some features of Jesus' return. Well, we know it will be sudden. No person can predict the closing of history. Jesus will come as a thief in the night. No one knows the day nor the hour that he's going to appear. But we have to live in readiness. It will be victorious. Jesus came the first time as a despised and rejected person. The next time, he will come as a ruling, reigning prince. God will triumph over evil. The next point is it will be a world-shaking event. Not an isolated event in one spot on the globe. It will involve every person. And we need to know, thirdly, that Jesus knows the consequences of history. He knows everything there is to know. The farmer allowed the wheat and tares to grow together until the harvest day. When the proper time arrived, he harvested the wheat and put it in barns. He bundled the tares and destroyed them. This gives us insight into what happens as a result of a person's experience. Jesus explained the meaning of the wheat. The field is the world. The good seeds are the sons of the kingdom. And we see in Matthew 13:38. The person who receives Jesus as Christ and Lord experiences the abundant blessings of God forever. This is a happy consequence of history. Jesus explained the meaning of the tares. The tares are the sons of the wicked one. Therefore, the tares are gathered and burned in the fire. So it will be at the end of the age, and will cast them into the furnace of fire. There will be weeping, wailing, and gnashing of teeth. Because of a person's refusal to open his or her life to the Lord grants this continued experience. No more awful consequence could be described than to reject Christ in history and to live apart from him throughout all eternity. And as I conclude this short message, you can change the course of your personal history by opening your life to the master historian. You can experience happy days in history now that will continue forever. We are seeing, as we are living now, what has happened in the past, in history. We're seeing history repeat itself. We're seeing good and evil. We're seeing that God has wonderful plans for man, but the enemy has come to destroy all the good plans that God has for man. Everything that God does to make our lives of a better quality, everything that God has put in place, the enemy is always at work to undermine and to destroy. As we see in this parable, the farmer sowed good seed. The workers knew it was good seed. They went to sleep. Everyone has to sleep at some point, but that's when they were most vulnerable. That's when the enemy sought opportunity and sowed tears, counterfeit seed. And as they grew, something was wrong. The enemy came to destroy. The enemy came to abort the original crop. I want you to know God is with us. Jesus is the great historian. History is a wonderful subject to study, to learn of the past and to see what happened in the past. But Jesus was in the past. He is in the present and he is in the future. He is history itself. He knows everything. He knows everything about your life. And he will take care of the good seed. A harvest is going to come. God himself will take care of that harvest. As the tares and the wheat grow together, you need to ask yourself, what sort of seed am I? If you are wheat, nothing can abort your existence or your purpose for living. Understand that. Remain faithful and grow where God has placed you. It doesn't matter what is growing around you or what's happening around you. You don't have to sort that out. God himself will. There is a great harvest day coming. Jesus Christ is coming back to this earth. He shall return, and he that shall come will come, and I can't wait till he's here. He's going to fix everything. So until then, let's grow where God's planted us. Let's be everything that God has called us to be. And let the farmer, God the farmer, take care of everything. God bless you.
Equipping the saints, reaching the lost. WWMF. We invite